again. I'm going to be here for it live and again. And this session is with Alex Dermigny. Is that how you pronounce it?
With Germany.
Germany. Okay. Well, you will correct me perpetually, probably, but I'm happy to be corrected. I'm so excited you're here. You're in the midst of a lot of moving parts right now. You work remotely. You are building a house. You're traveling back from like Hudson Valley to Saratoga, right? Is this accurate information, or am I just making this up?
This is all accurate information now. And I just recently joined Palette to give myself somewhere to set up errands for the house project, or if I just generally want to like play yoga already, it's fun.
Yeah. So what process are you in right now with the house? Is it like just getting started? Is it almost over?
Probably a third, maybe a half of the way there with the build. We bought, so we were one of those people who decided peak COVID, like, you know what, we're gonna sell our house in Boston and get the hell out of here. So we were really happy to make, a chunk of change at the top of the real. I'm actually from Saratoga, so when we were asking ourselves, my husband and I, like, we have this freedom. If there's a couple of silver linings to the whole that shared COVID brought to us all, I think one of them for us was this virtual, flexible work for both of us. So we were just kind of thinking about our haves and our love to haves for where we want to be, and that checklist is pretty much entirely fulfilled. And so we quickly learned we couldn't afford anything, so we waited a while, and we've just been kind of chipping away at the process since last summer. A really long time to get a building permit, which was soul crushing, but we're rolling now. Things are going.
Awesome. I'm so excited for you. I mean, I remember, building a house in Saratoga is not for the weak at heart.
No.
You truly have to almost have an entrepreneurial spirit, because you have to like stay on top of people. You have to remind, the city that like you put in an application 4 months ago and you still don't have a permit, and that's just not acceptable. I mean, in most municipalities. So yeah, you have to really stay on top of them. And then it's like I actually think I'm a contractor's daughter. My dad is a home builder, and I feel like it prepared me to be an entrepreneur, but also deal with the city of Saratoga Springs.
Yeah, no, I am not a friend of the bureaucracy, that's for sure. But I actually am also a home builder. They built the house I grew up in, so that kind of made it feel less foreign to me. But honestly, my dad's best friend since they were in high school back in Clifton Park is actually also helping to build our house. He's our contractor. He's actually the father of another Palette member, Eliza Whipple's dad, Tom Whipple. So
my gosh, are you kidding me?
Oh my
gosh. Well, so now we can talk about all sorts of, I mean, not now we can talk about oysters, but like Saratoga is such a small community, it's like we have lots of resources in the region, but Saratoga is a very small community. So you knew Eliza before Palette?
I have known Eliza and her sister Elena since I was born. Yeah, I've known a small world indeed.
Awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
So tell us, so when you were kind of going through the list of like non-negotiables, like it's really exciting that I think it's really exciting you got to pinpoint exactly where you wanted to go, and you landed back in Saratoga Springs. So you're what we call a boomeranger.
Yes, I'm familiar with the term. No, I mean, and my husband as well. Obviously, we want a good school district. We have a son who's going to be 3 in November, which doesn't necessarily narrow it down. So we wanted a good school district. We wanted to be closer to family. We wanted to be close to mountains and lakes and streams and outdoor fun. to live in a city that has a lot going on, that has a lot of culture and fun things to do without being, we both couldn't swing it in Manhattan. We know that about ourselves. So, the criteria down quite a bit. I actually grew up in Greenfield outside of Saratoga, kind of the sort of secret spots where you can get a little bit of land and still be like 10 minutes from town. We ended up getting really lucky and found a good piece of land exactly where we were looking, and it's almost history. We're still kind of in the middle of it, but
Awesome. I love it. Now, did you go to Boston for work, or were you there for school, and is that where did you randomly meet your husband and he also was from the area, or are you like high school sweethearts? Tell us the whole story.
I will tell you the whole story. We've been all over my husband's name is Jack. Jack and I have been together for what year is it? For 11 years. In actually a couple of weeks, September. We met in college. We both went to SUNY here. We are products of the state school system. That's another thing, honestly. We wanted to move back to New York for this. But we met. It's funny. He's actually a nuclear physicist. He has his PhD. And I was an English major. So we would not have crossed paths in college, except that we both pizza shop on Main Street in Geneseo. So we got slinging pizzas late night. I mean, this pizza shop's open till like 3-4 in the morning. It was a scene. It was like being in a co-ed fraternity or sorority, except we got paid minimum wage. So it was a lot of fun. And he graduated a year ahead of me and at UNC. So he moved down a year ahead of me. I finished here at Mia's, the pizza place, and did some substitute teaching. And I honestly had no idea. I'm just one of those, I have a wonderful family. My parents have always been wonderful and supportive, but I am sort of like, whatever I do, I'm not moving home. That's all I know. So I moved down to be with Jack essentially because I had nothing else planned. I did a bunch of looking for gainful employment. I had thought I wanted to be a teacher, so I looked into the teaching certification programs at UNC, and after studying in undergrad, I was like starting to think I didn't really want to be in front of a classroom, but I do still have no idea what I wanted to do. I taught kids yoga. I sold bikes. I coffee shops and other random stuff. I babysat. And I actually got an offer temp position doing QA on e-learning. So quality assurance, which is just clicking the buttons, making sure the scrolling works. It's super important. It was my only job. I remember the hourly rate was going to be like $1.50 an hour less than the bike shop job that I had hours for. So I was this close to saying no. Like, you know what? I'm bouncing around this sweet job selling bikes. Like, I love bicycling. That could really be it for me. And to tell me what to do. But it was like, I think this is sort of what maybe you want to be doing long term. You make the decision. But we weren't married yet or even engaged. So I took the chance, and this of jumping into the unknown just sort of is the story of my career. It was a job with the AICPA. I didn't know what that was. It's the American Institute of Certified. It's not quite as boring as it sounds, I promise you. I mean, interesting. And within a couple of weeks, they turned my 3-month temp contract into a full-time position. Well, it was fun. I was a big girl with a big girl job for the first time at that point, and it was pretty wild. Anyway, that was the professional part of that story, but we spent a lot of time in Chapel Hill, really awesome friends. I did end up going to grad school at NC State, communications degree, and then we moved to Boston after he completed his degree for a work point. I was with my current company working remotely, so I've been mobile for a while. The thing about my current position. But
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah,
So you were living the remote life long before COVID.
yeah, and I got a bone to pick with everybody else. There used to be a balance with working from home. People, there used to be that point at 5 o'clock clocked out to drive home, and so there was that natural break in my day. But now, more, everybody's just working from home and they never stop. Like, guys, we had a really good thing going here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's certainly a lesson in like you have to hold yourself accountable to stop working. And then when you like everyone's passionate about what they're doing now, so they never want to stop working. And when I mean they, I mean me. I'm like I love what I'm doing. So I'm happy to answer emails into the wee hours of the night, but it's not sustainable. It's not healthy. I'm pretty certain I've confirmed that I have adrenal fatigue.
Oh,
So it's
jeez.
just yeah. So it's like, I am one too that needs to like practice what I preach in the sense of like there are balls that you just got to let go and drop them and like tell the people that you can't be there or can't do the thing, because it's just not realistic.
Yeah, it's true. Well, and the other thing too is to-do lists. There's never a bottom, and
Yeah.
so I'm guilty of it too. Like you find yourself in a good groove, and you want inbox is at zero, and your to-do list is totally struck through, but there's always going to be work to do. Beauty of it, or it's the ugly part of it, however you want to look at it, whatever mood you're in. But you got to just give yourself for the day, or it's Friday evening, I'm done for the weekend, or
Yeah, so I
just
did a thing like just yesterday and it was so just transformative and like just relieved so much stress that I had that I didn't know I had. I just deleted everything in my inbox.
hey, if they need you, they'll reach out again.
Yeah, if they need me, I'm CC'd on a million emails. Like if they need me, they will re-email me, It's just like I just needed this break and I do the thing you're not supposed to do. I treat my inbox as my to-do list and it's like, oh my God, Catherine, your inbox is not your to-do list. Like that's a whole nother long list of things to do. So stop. And then I get distracted really easily. I'm like doing none of the things that I'm supposed to be doing to hold myself accountable and boundaries and to be effective. So I just deleted everything and I just feel so good. It's like not the end, the world did not stop spinning. And I feel really relaxed and zen now.
Wow. Well, if any of my colleagues or team members from work, or tip that I would advise you employ, just saying.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if this is gonna make me lose my job, but I'm pretty
I
sure no
mean,
one can fire me except for Marcella,
that's
and she
right.
hasn't yet. So I think we're good.
No, you're good. You're good.
So when is the actually, but let me ask this question because I don't have you for long, you're a busy lady, I'm a busy lady, and so we have like 5 more minutes, but I wanted to ask you what has been the most exciting thing since like, being back in the area. What is like the thing that you're like, oh my God, I'm so glad that this is where I am, this is what I'm doing. Um, and like makes you feel like you like the thought of like I'm never moving home has like not is not even in your brain anymore, right? Because like I've had that feeling too where I'm like I'm from New Orleans and I'm like I'm never ever moving home, but when I do go home I see things and I like experience things and I'm like wow, maybe, so tell me what this kind of like thing was for you.
It's a good question. Well, so I'll say first that I've been really fulfilled for I've been very fortunate for several years now. My role, like I said, has been remote. I've had a lot of opportunity to grow, and I've have a really robust network of colleagues I love. And honestly, I do this all day. I'm on the phone, on video calls all day long, just like with my colleagues, and I love it. But it did feel a little lonely. Saying, and I didn't realize it until COVID. Again, the blessings of the COVID clarity, right? What I was really missing over the last couple of years was community. So I can actually like interact with people in real life. I can like hug a friend, like chat with the barista who knows my name or whatever that looks like. And Hill, we had a really beautiful thing going on down there, but things happen, so you gotta leave.
Yeah.
Sometimes, but you know, we could have had that probably to Boston right before having a baby, and then COVID happened. So they're like two. I hope not everyone's life has to have a pandemic, but
Right.
thing we were looking for was just like that, you know, small town feel, which, and part of what brought me, you know, looking for something like, I didn't know that I was looking for palette, but that's what we were looking for. And the things that so I've been gone a long time. I mean, we visited plenty. I lived in Saratoga in a long time. So what's cool about it is it feels like a warm hug. It feels like enough, but there's so much changing and so much new stuff happening all the time that just moving home, right? It feels like I'm going to a new place. There's a lot of spots that my favorite spots aren't there anymore. And I was asking Marcella just the other day, like, here's your favorite place to get coffee? Because I went to the place that I thought I loved and it was not what I thought it was.
Yeah.
And she's been great with tips like that. So I don't know, just generally, I think hopefully I'm not overhyping it, but I think it's going to be really, really great to be back. We're really looking forward to six months or so from now when we're at the end of this house building tunnel and we can actually, because I love driving up and I love spending my day at Palette, and then I have to drive back down.
Right. So it's a means to an end. You know, you're gonna be here so soon. Tom Whipple's gonna like get it going and get this thing done for you. And you know, it doesn't hurt to have like some other people like poking at him, you know, to make sure he like keeps on moving. But he's such a hardworking guy, and
and I will tell you, I would not have built a house if Tom wasn't still building houses. And I've told him that, and he puts a couple of gold stars for that. So we don't need to send anybody else after him. I think he's
yeah, well, you know, it's interesting, like, again, you know, my dad is like close, he should retire. You know, he probably never will retire, but I've actually said this a lot to Eliza, like her dad reminds me so much of my dad. They're just like hardworking. That's all. They're like workhorses. They don't even know what else to do with themselves. And he's building like a outrageous house right now. And he says this all the time. Well, if it wasn't for Mary Beth, I would not be building anymore. You know, I'm done. I'm ready. Yeah. I'm ready to like, you know, kick my heels up. And by kick his heels up, he means like, you know, doing some spec houses and not doing the custom stuff, you know? So like he'll never stop working. But for a very special person that already has a relationship with him, he's like, I'll do this for you. So it sounds like that's what Tom is for you, or you are for him. And you know, it's back to like relationships, right? And networking and making sure you're, you know, always, you know, keeping open to the possibilities of like working with people. And I mean, what a great, it would be a dream of mine to like build a house with Tom, because he just seems like he's got so many stories. I'm sure he's it's an experience.
He knows so much, and he is hilarious. And a quick story from, I guess it was over a year ago now, when we hadn't even closed on it yet. And he and I, like, I would just get this at 6 a.m, drive to Saratoga just to be on the lot, and then go work. And then I would work at Palette, pick kid up from daycare. So this was one of those mornings we got there, and it's 10 acres of forest that we bought, right? And somebody on a neighboring lot cleared just like clean cut this whole side. And like, you know, it's been 18 months. I was furious. And it's like snowy. I think it was the end of March. So there's like snow. And like Tom saw how angry I was and was like, he and I, you know, this guy's in his 70s. He's over streams. We're climbing up the hill. We're taking pictures. We're gonna call our lawyer. We're cursing and stomping our feet. We're so mad. And he was just, it's like, that's the energy he brings him.
Yeah.
And either that's where both need to be, or he can like chill me out a little bit. Or we went to the planning board many a night together in Greenfield and got rejected. Many more pissed than I was. You know,
Yeah.
it was just a good balance. So.
It really is a journey to build a house. I don't think people, you know, like people don't realize how it can be so exciting and it can be so empowering. I think empowering is a really good word in this scenario. So when you build your own house, or you have a relationship with the builder, and so you can go out on the site whenever you want to, and you don't feel like you're in the way, and it's like that sort of like, you know, hometown kind of feel. It's so empowering, because then you're like, oh my God, I didn't just build a house. Like, I was part of the experience, and then, you know, when things break, it's like you're not like just calling some rando in to fix whatever. You're like, you know what the problem is, and you know how to solve it. So yeah, it's so cool. Everyone should have that opportunity. You're so lucky. It's so exciting, and I hope you're documenting everything.
Oh yeah, I think like most of the pictures on my camera roll are pictures you can watch it get built in real time. Probably.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, so then we'll have a housewarming party, you know, eventually when it's done. I'm just putting it out
Definitely.
there.
Definitely. Yep.
Awesome. Well, hopefully I'll see you soon inside Palette.
Yes.
I don't know.
Definitely.
Soon. And thank you so much for being here for sharing like what's going on in your life. You've got so much wisdom and experience to embark on us. So I appreciate your time.
Anytime. I had a blast.
Awesome.